Hold just a minute. All right, everyone. Appreciate everybody being on here for our fiscal court meeting. We are live at this point. So at this time, I'd like to ask Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Biken. Ms. Taylor.
Here. I think we're churning a little slow, looks like. At this time, I'd like to ask Magistrate John Tudor to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let us pray, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask for your grace, your mercy, and your guidance as we maneuver through this difficult time in our lives. We pray that you'll be with our health and our safety. Please be with our leaders of our country that they make the right decisions during this difficult time. Be with this court as we continue to work for the citizens of Madison County. And most of all, thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. May we love as he loved. In his precious name, we ask these things. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, John. At this time, I'd invite our sheriff to lead us in a pledge. Everybody, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With liberty for all.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Sheriff. Guys, y'all have had a chance to look over the minutes from our previous fiscal court meeting, which was April the 28th, 2020. That was our regular scheduled fiscal court meeting. We are calling these special meetings right now due to the fact that we're doing them video conferencing based off of the Attorney General's opinion of being able to comply his opinion of 2005. So if I have a motion and a second to approve those meetings.
So moved.
I have a motion by John Tudor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Larry Combs. Is there any discussion at this time? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs. Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Biken.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Kenny. First order of business today is our second reading of ordinance 2011. It's an amendment to the 911 interlocal agreement. Between the city of, well, it's several actually, City of Richmond, City of Bree, I think State Police. Wendy's on with us today. Good morning, Wendy, our 911 director, and she'll go over it. I do want, this is a second reading, so this ordinance was advertised appropriately, and there was no comments sent in, so there was no public comments up until this point. So Wendy, I'll turn it over to you to explain the ordinance.
Okay, what the ordinance is it's giving, since we're a 911 board and we have more than one law enforcement agency, this just gives one law enforcement agency the ability to be our criminal justice agency over our Lincoln NCIC terminals. to make sure everyone's certified, that they have what they need in order to run queries and inquiries. And it gives the audit team from the state and the FBI one central point of location. And at this time, Berea Police Department will be that host, that management control for the 911 board.
I will read the summary real quick of the ordinance. An ordinance amending the interlocal cooperation agreement, public safety communication services interlocal cooperation agreement between Madison County, Kentucky, Madison County Ambulance Service, Kentucky State Police, Madison County Sheriff, Madison County Coroner, City of Berea, Kentucky, and the City of Richmond, Kentucky. So if you all approve in ordinance 2011, the amendment to the 911 interlocal agreement, I need a motion and a second, please.
So move.
I have a motion by Larry Combs. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Tom Bakken. Is there any further discussion at this time? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs? Master Barger? Master Tudor?
Here. Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Yeah, it's a little slow today. It's a little hesitation today. And everybody, if you will, our IT director has asked to make sure everybody mutes themselves. Thank you. Next is our first reading of ordinance 2012, which is our 2020-2021 fiscal court budget. We have Glenna on today. An ordinance to adopt the 2020-2021 budget, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the administration of the county budget, and whereas Madison County Fiscal Court has received the proposed 2020-2021 general budget, and whereas the county treasurer has received the budget to ensure sound financial practices, now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, does hereby approve the proposed 2020-2021 general budget. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of our?
Just one quick note. There was one change from the draft to the first reading, and that was on the revenues page. On page 2 of revenues, we added a line item for Chris. It is the Kentucky County Governmental Cloud, and it is line item number 014615-005. It says KCGC contractual services for $25,000 in revenue. And then on the expenditure side, on page 3 of the general fund, budget line item number 015091-318, KCGC expenses, we added for $10,000. And those were the two changes. The difference in that is $15,000 between the revenues coming in and expenses going out. That was added to the reserve for transfer. So that was the only change made between the draft and the first reading.
All right, at this time, let's get a motion and a second, and then we'll have further discussion, please. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of ordinance 2012? It's our 2020-2021 fiscal court budget. John Tudor?
So move.
I have a motion by John Tudor. Do I have a second?
Second, Judge.
Second by Tom Bakken. All right. Larry, I saw you talking. Did you have some questions?
Yeah, I just want to know where that 25,000 come from.
It's that is our agreement where we're providing data storage with Scott County. Scott County hired us with all of our technology that we have to provide that data storage for them.
I know there was some discussion last time we met about Scott County, and I didn't know what had happened. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's actually a revenue stream for us trying to think about post CSEP, and maybe having some income to help over time pay for our infrastructure that we have. Yeah.
That's fine.
Is there any other questions or any other discussion at this time? Okay. Seeing none, call the roll, Clerk Barker. Oh,
Master
no,
Barker?
Kenny, hold on a second. Sorry. I do have one other thing that I need to announce due to it being the first reading. For any citizen that would like to make public comment about our budget, please feel free to email the comment to comments@madisoncountyky.us. Again, if you have any questions or any concerns or comments about the budget, please feel free to email those comments to comments@madisoncountyky.us. A copy of this ordinance will be available on our website at www.madisoncountyky.us under the Transparency tab. Thank you, Clerk Barger. Sorry I interrupted you. Proceed.
No problem. Master Barger? Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you, Glenna. It's been a little different budget year this year, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 2046. This is the fiscal year 2021 Build Grant Application Authorization. A resolution for application and administration of a U.S. Department of Transportation FY 2020 Build Grant Program funds for fiscal year 2020. Colleen, is Colleen on?
Sorry, Reagan, I'm here. Go ahead.
That's okay. It's just the resolution says fiscal year 2020, but the agenda says 2021. I'm just want to make sure that we clarify what year that this bill grant is actually in.
The bill grant would be a 2020 bill grant.
Okay. Thank you. So I just want everybody to understand that change on the agenda. It actually says 2021. We just need to make sure it's referenced to 2020. A resolution for application and administration of U.S. Department of Transportation FY 2020 Build Grant Program funds for federal fiscal year 2020. Whereas the U.S. Department of Transportation is accepting applications for the FY 2020 National Infrastructure Investments, better utilizing investments to leverage development, transportation discretionary grants program. And whereas funds for the FY 2020 Build Transportation Grants Program are to be awarded on a competitive basis for surface transportation infrastructure projects that will have a significant local or regional impact. And whereas funds awarded under this program may be used for roads, bridges, transit, rail, ports, and intermodal transportation. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky desires to make an application for fiscal year 2020 U.S. Department of Transportation Build Grant Program funding for reconstruction of Kentucky Route 52 from Wallace Mill Road to Interstate 75, realigning Kentucky Route 52 to join Duncannon Lane. And whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the Judge Executive to make application for the FY 2020 U.S. Department of Transportation Build Program funding. And if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with U.S. Department of Transportation to administer this award, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer this award, to act as the authorized correspondent for this award. And whereas Madison County Fiscal Court is requesting U.S. Department of Transportation Build Grant funds in an amount which will be specified in the grant application, which is currently being prepared for submittal. And whereas a local match is not required and local funding is not considered in the scoring of the bill grant application. And now therefore be it resolved this 12th day of May 2020 by Madison County, Kentucky, the judge executive is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation, including memorandum of agreements, as may be required for the furtherance of the above referenced project, and to act as the authorized correspondent for said project. So at this time, do I have a motion and a second for resolution 2046? Tom Bakken?
Move, Judge, on resolution 2046 for the FY 2020 bill grant application.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Larry Combs. Is there any further discussion, guys? I will state, just to be a reminder, that we've actually applied for this same bill grant for this same project for the last 2 years. This will be our 3rd year in a row actually applying for this. We do have some regional support. We do have actual funding support from the city of Richmond, as we did last year, as well as we're supporting it with funds as well. We did lower that amount this year. The last couple of years, we had put up $500,000 towards this project. The city of Richmond did as well. And this year we actually took that down just due to the times to $100,000. So we would be giving $100,000 as well as the city of Richmond giving $100,000 if we're approved, if we do get the grant. We do have letters of support from the city of Berea. We're thankful for their partnership in it. We have, I think, letters of support from some of our west touching counties, Lincoln County, Jessamine County, Garrett County, Boyle County. I think that's it. Jessamine. No, we don't have Rockcastle, Larry, just because 52 that way doesn't really connect to them. So I think it's those 4, Lincoln, Garrett, Jessamine, and Boyle, are giving letters of support in it as well. This is a partnership grant between us and the State Transportation Cabinet. Is there any questions or any other comments or statements at this time? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Barger, if you will, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bakken,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger, Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next, we have Resolution 2047. This is an AOC lease agreement on our family court building. A resolution to approve an estimate of reimbursements to be made by the Administrative Office of the Courts, hereinafter referred to as the AOC, to the Madison County, hereinafter local government, for fiscal year 2021. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court agrees to lease office space to Madison County Family Court building to the AOC, and whereas the AOC agrees to reimburse Madison County Fiscal Court for the use of the Madison County Family Court building and any expenses incurred listed in the attached agreement, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court agrees to provide the AOC with annual accounting records to include expenses for the Family Court building. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve to enter into this agreement and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county to go into effect upon the signature of all parties. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2047? Roger? So Roger makes the motion. Kenny? Do I have a second? John Tudor?
Yes. Second that.
So I have a motion by Roger Barger, a second by John Tudor. Is there any further discussion at this time?
Did that change any this year compared to last year?
This on this one, Larry, it did not, because the family court now with, when we purchased that family court building several years ago, our bond payment is basically set.
Okay.
And so they keep it the same. Now, sometimes what will fluctuate, Larry, is the reimbursement of expenses. So like if electric goes up or down, that can fluctuate a little bit. They estimate on the reimbursements for operating costs to be approximately $113,900 for this next fiscal year. That is based off of this year's costs. Their just rented space is $516,553.10 for that building, which makes the total for this next fiscal year $630,453.10.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions or comments or concerns at this time? All right, seeing none, Clerk Barger, call the roll.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger, Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Kenny, you're getting Rogers' yeses, aren't you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting them.
Yep. Thank you. Next is Resolution 2048. This is very similar to the previous resolution we just approved. This is on our courthouse where circuit court is held. A resolution to approve an estimate of reimbursement to be made by the Administrative Office of the Courts, hereinafter AOC, to Madison County, hereinafter local government for fiscal year 2021. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court agrees to lease office space in the Madison County Courthouse to the AOC, and whereas the AOC agrees to reimburse the Madison County Fiscal Court for the use of the office space in the Madison County Courthouse and any expenses incurred listed in the attached agreement. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court agrees to provide the AOC with annual accounting records to include expenses for the courthouse. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into the agreement and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county to go into effect upon the signature of all parties. At this time, I need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2048. It's the AOC lease agreement on the courthouse. John Tudor,
So move.
do I have a second?
Judge.
Was that Tom?
Second.
All right, thank you. I have a motion by John Tudor, a second by Tom Botkin. Is there any discussion at this time? Larry, I'll follow up a little bit on your previous question on the previous resolution about has that funding stayed the same? On this, it actually has gone down with the during session this year between the AOC and the legislature. They actually lowered the amount that AOC pays to fiscal courts for courthouse space. They actually cut it in half this year. If you all look on your agreement, there's section 2 is a use allowance. They give us a flat amount for use allowance, and it used to be about $21,000. It's actually this year gone down to $10,737. And this was done statewide. So that will be actually lowered this year versus last year. Now, all of this is ultimately going to change with the project that we're doing with the AOC on our courthouse. And we continue to get closer and closer on it. So is there any other questions at this time? Go ahead, John.
Judge, will they ramp that fund back up with the construction coming forward?
Yeah, it'll be a totally new agreement, John, once we once we get all the project going and it's actually completed, it'll be really more along the lines of the family court agreement once it's all done.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Yeah, the AOC will be taking over the whole courthouse. So just as family court, they have the whole building. They'll be the same way on the courthouse at that point.
Have we got room, Judge, in the other building for all the records we have?
Yes, Larry.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about for like Kenny,
Yeah.
all the deeds and yes. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't want that job moving them.
All right, is there any more discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger, Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bodkin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Excuse me. Next is Resolution 2049. This is God's Outreach CDBG Food Bank Expansion Project. A resolution authorizing payment for Madison County's God Outreach Food Bank Expansion Project, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has been awarded the Community Development Block Grant funds from the Commonwealth of Kentucky in the amount of $300,000. And whereas during the period from April 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2020, the attached expenses have been incurred. And whereas the expenditures of all funds is in compliance with the rules and regulations, financial management policies, and the OMB circulars of the various funding agencies, including the Kentucky Community Block Grant Program and the state of Kentucky. Now therefore be it resolved that the following debts be paid in full upon receipt of CDBG funds as drawn down from the Kentucky Department for Local Government. Invoice number 2 is CEDA Incorporated, line item CDBG RFP number 3, 15-administration for the amount of $3,000. And invoice number 2, Grant Excavating, line item CDBG RFP number 3, 5K Construction, in the amount of $59,500. Be it further resolved that all expenditures have been documented and recorded and are authorized for drawdown from the Commonwealth of Kentucky in compliance with all state and federal and local regulations. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2049, our God's Outreach CDBG Food Bank Expansion Project? Roger? So Roger makes a motion to approve Resolution 2049. John Tudor?
Second that, Judge.
John Tudor seconds. Is there any further discussion at this time? Hey, Roger, unmute. So if you were saying something.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I just said it was a good program.
Yes.
Well worth what we have to put into it.
Yep, it is. Any other comments? All right, seeing none. Clerk Barger, call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bodkin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next is Resolution 2050. This is the 2020 MOU, Bluegrass Chemical Activity, Bluegrass Army Depot. I think this is our interlocal memorandum of understanding. Dustin, do you have it in front of you?
Yes, sir.
So if you want to
read it, if you'd like.
Yep,
You
that'd
bet.
be great.
All right. So, Madison County Fiscal Court Resolution 2050, a resolution approving the signature of the updated memorandum of understanding between the Bluegrass Chemical Activity and the Bluegrass Army Depot, the Assembled Chemical Weapons Alternatives, and Madison County. Whereas the Madison County Emergency Management Agency, or EMA, participates in the Chemical Stockpile Emergency Preparedness Program, or CSEP program, and whereas the Madison County EMA CSEP program works closely with the Bluegrass Army Depot and the Bluegrass Chemical Activity to provide alert and warning from a chemical release at the Bluegrass Army Depot or Bluegrass Chemical Activity. And whereas the Madison County EMA CSEP program has a memorandum of understanding with the above mentioned entities to provide guidance for response in the unlikely event of a chemical release from the bluegrass chemical activity. And now therefore it be resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into an agreement and authorize the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county to go into effect upon the signature of all parties. I believe you're on mute there, Reagan.
Sorry, Dustin. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Dustin. I'll try to repeat what I just said. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2050, which is our MOU with the Bluegrass Chemical Activity, Bluegrass Army Depot? Tom?
So moved, Judge.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second? Roger?
Second.
I have a motion by Tom Bakken. I have a second by Roger Barger. Is there any discussion at this time? Does anybody have any questions for Dustin?
I'll just give you guys a little bit more information. This is the exact same memorandum we've signed year after year. You have it. There's not a lot, nothing changed. It's just a needed MOU and update from year to year. This just lays out how we and the chemical activity communicate if they're in the unlikely event of a release.
Thank you, Dustin. Any questions? Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, Clerk Barger.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Mr. Bakken,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger,
He said yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all.
Reagan, you're muted again.
Got it. Sorry, guys. Let's start all over again. Does somebody keep hitting my mute button? Yeah. Resolution 2051, County Clerk's Motor Vehicle and Boat Bills. A resolution authorizing payment for Madison County Clerk's claim for calculation of motor vehicle and boat bills for 2019. Whereas Madison County, Kentucky has 95,427 motor vehicle and boat accounts as of January 1st, 2020. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court shall pay the county clerk 15 cents for the calculation of a tax bill for each account. And whereas the total claim to be paid by the Madison County Fiscal Court is $14,314.05. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution, and the county judge executive is hereby authorized to execute same on behalf of the fiscal court. So at this time, do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2051, County Clerk's Motor Vehicle and Boat Bills? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that Madison County approve Resolution 2051.
Thank you, John. Do I have a second? Roger? I have a second for Roger Barger. Is there any further discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Bakken,
Yes.
Hey, Kenny, you've gone on mute too somehow.
okay, now I'm there. Sorry, Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger, Master
Yes.
Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right, thanks, everybody. Next, we have Resolution 2052. This is fiscal year 21, County Road Aid Agreement. A resolution adopting and approving the execution of a county road aid co-op program contract between the fiscal court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Department of Rural Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statute and accepting all roads and streets referred to therein as being a part of the county road system. Whereas the fiscal court does hereby accept all roads and streets referred to in said contract and as being a part of the county road system. Whereas the fiscal court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms, conditions therein stated. And now therefore be it resolved, the county judge executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the fiscal court of Madison County, and the county clerk of Madison County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto. Do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2052, our county road aid agreement? Tom?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2052 FY21 County Road Aid Agreement.
John Tudor?
I'll second that motion, Judge.
Thank you, guys. I have a motion by Tom Bakken. I have a second by John Tudor. Guys, I will go ahead and tell you now during discussion that the estimated amount for this year is lower than it has been in years past due to the price of fuel. We do participate in the 3% cooperative program, which is like an emergency fund. And so our amount that we will get this year is just shy of 1.3 million. Our estimated amount total for this year is $1,339,395.54. That's the actual amount that's actually in the agreement. But then you would subtract 3% of that, which is approximately about $40,000, which goes into that emergency fund. Is there any questions or any additional comments this time? Okay, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs,
I guess.
Master Berger.
Yes, he said, I guess.
I wasn't looking. Master Berger,
Yes, he said yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bakken.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes, thank you all. Thanks for the laugh too, Larry. I needed that. Next is Resolution 2053. This is a FY 2020 Assistance to Firefighters Grant COVID-19 Supplemental Funding. Do we have anybody that's going to present this today, or do I just need to read this? Okay.
Judge, I'm here today. If you'd like
Okay. Yeah, Tom, if you want, that's fine, or it's good to have you here in case there's any questions for anybody.
Sure. A resolution for application and administration FY 2020 Department of Homeland Security Federal Emergency Management Agency Grant Programs Directorate Assistance to Firefighters Grant COVID-19 Supplemental Funding. Whereas the FY 2020 Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program COVID-19 Supplemental Funding Opportunity allows eligible communities to apply for assistance to purchase critical personal protective equipment and supplies to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, desires to make an application for FY 2020 Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program COVID-19 Supplemental Funding, and whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the judge executive to make application for FY 2020 Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program COVID-19 Supplemental Funding, and if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with the Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and Grant Programs Directorate to administer these funds, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer the award, to act as an authorized correspondent for the award, and whereas the total amount of Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program COVID-19 Supplemental Funding available nationwide is $100 million, and the projected number of awards is 1,000, the amount Madison County will receive, if any, will not be determined until the projected award date of June 5th, 2020. And whereas Madison County is applying for a portion of the available Assistance to Firefighters Grant funding to purchase personal protective equipment and supplies to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency. And whereas there's a 10% non-federal hard match, cash local match required not to exceed $10,000. And now, therefore, be it resolved this 12th day of May, 2020 by Madison County, Kentucky. The judge executive is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation, including memorandum of agreements as may be required for the furtherance of the above referenced project, and to act as the authorized correspondence for said project done this 12th day of May.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2053, the FY 2020 Assistance for Firefighters Grant COVID-19 Supplemental? Roger? Roger makes a motion to approve Resolution 2053. Do I have a second? Tom Bakken?
Second on that, Judge.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Roger. Is there any questions for Tom Webb? Okay. Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger? Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Tom. Next is the personnel. It's fire department. Hi, Chief.
Good morning. Today, I'd like to recommend to the court to hire Joseph Alex Mead as a firefighter 2, starting on 5/13/2020 at $8 an hour. He was in the last interview process we had when we hired our other 3 with Captain Herb Lovett, Lieutenant Greg Cox, and Lieutenant Joseph Nobby on the interview committee.
Chief, does this get us to 24?
For time being, we've got another one that's turned his 2 weeks in. It's took another job that'll be leaving next week, so we'll be back down to 23 again.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve hiring Joseph Alex Mead as a firefighter 2, starting at $8 an hour? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Joseph Mead for firefighter 2.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Larry Combs. Is there any further discussion at this time? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger? Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is the judge's report. Just have a few announcements. I do want to, I know this is something that never was foreseen with this pandemic, and it really has affected a lot of our young people across our county, and all of our high school seniors, even our university, EKU, Ambria College seniors would have been graduating during this next few weeks time period. Some would have already have graduated. And so some have gotten creative on how that they recognize their seniors, but I know that it has not been the normal experience for most graduating from either college or high school. But I do want to congratulate all those seniors, and I hope that they do at some point when the dust settles, that they will get to experience that ceremony and be able to have their cap and gown and actually walk across the stage. I know it's something, when I did that I'll never forget. It was a wonderful experience. But I do want to congratulate the Madison Central, Madison Southern, Berea Community, and Model Lab High School seniors. I want to wish them well in their life, and I hope they grow and do great things. Effective yesterday, it is strongly recommended to wear face masks in public, whether it be at grocery stores or some other type of activity. Please continue to limit your exposure to the COVID-19 virus by good hand washing, staying safe at home, and self-isolating. If you must go out, limit your contact with others and wear face masks and gloves if possible. Also, please contact the local cemeteries for information on Memorial Day services. If you are able to attend, please wear face masks, practice social distancing, and bring your lawn chairs if you want to be a part of those services. Battlefield Golf Course is open for play. There are some new procedures regarding the COVID-19 virus, but they are minor. You can now schedule your tee times online by going to battlefieldgolfclub.net and click on the tee time tab. Our Madison County parks are open, but we also ask that you provide good social distancing while visiting and making sure that you're complying with the CDC guidelines. Last but not least, that our Madison County Fiscal Court House and its related offices will be closed Monday, May 25th for Memorial Day holiday. Offices will reopen on Tuesday, May 26th at 8 a.m. And I do want to announce that even though that our buildings are closed to the public, that in the county government umbrella, whether that be county attorney's office or the sheriff's office or the PVA's office, the clerk's office, we are still continuing to be able to provide services to our constituents. You know, our planning and zoning codes office, our treasurers, our animal shelter, the judge's office, our IT departments. When you call, there's somebody going to answer. So we are still working every day to provide you with the needs that you deserve. So I do want to make that announcement. Next is comments from magistrates. Tom Botkin.
I just got a couple of things, Judge. The CDC reported yesterday that there was 1,324,488 cases of the coronavirus in the United States, with 79,756 deaths. So, you know, it's out there. I know that we're reopening Kentucky back up, but, you know, I just want to reemphasize what you said. Just please, you know, be cautious, wear your mask if you can, you know, mind your social distancing, and it's, you know, it's still for real. There's a lot of things that haven't been mentioned, like the second wave. We surely don't want to have to go through that if we can. So let's just try to do this a little while longer, and maybe it'll be the end of it with summer coming on. We have, we're still waiting for some of the state funds for the Hagen Mill, Arbuckle Bogey Mill. We're hoping those are to start with Hagen Mill first around June the 1st, pending the approval of those funds. And then it should be Arbuckle and then Bogey Mill. They began work yesterday down on Wheeler Branch, putting in some rock baskets, and they're continuing that work down there today also, Judge. So if you live down in that area, just be mindful of our workers down there going in and out. And the Poozy boat ramp, I've had a couple of calls about that. I talked to Mr. Willis this morning about that. He said he was down there yesterday, and that right now you can put the boat in down at Poozy. Of course, you know, if we don't get any more rain, the river goes down this week, they may have to go down and reclaim for the weekend. It's supposed to be pretty nice. But he said he would follow up on that, you know, a little bit later in the week. And, you know, also just to echo, we want to say congratulations to our seniors, Judge. That's a big milestone in their lives, and we wish them the best in their future, whether that's going to work or going to school further on or further in their education. And last, just a reminder, you know, it's never too late to complete the census. And, you know, it's still important for all the things that have been stated many times for our county. And we'd appreciate, you know, if you could just go online and do that, or, you know, your census in, or you can make the phone call. And last, just if anyone needs me, you can reach me at 200-9765. Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate the update. Next, we have Magistrate John Tudor.
Thank you, Judge. Just to follow up on what Tom said there, I was at College Hill yesterday. The boat ramp down there is clean and clear and ready to launch boats. I know a lot of people, warm weather's wanting to get out and go fishing or get out of the house and do a little activity away from the house. And that's, the weather's going to be warming up. Looks like summer's coming by Friday. So, everybody just be watching out for kids out playing in the roads and streets. And of course, there's no school right now, so there's going to be a lot more kids this spring out trying to get some fresh air and some exercise, and be careful. The road department have begun their mowing. Saw a couple of tractors out yesterday mowing the roadside, so watch out for those guys. They're doing the best they can, and just continue to keep your distance and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, we have Roger Barger. Unmute yourself, Roger.
How about now?
I got you.
Okay, somehow it's doing it on its own. I'm not clicking it back off. But anyway, I don't have much, but pretty much in the lines of what Tom and John has said. But I've just noticed in some of the grocery stores, people don't wear the mask. You see on TV where fights break out and everything, and there's no reason for that. Just keep your distance, stay away from them. Some of these people actually smother by wearing the mask, especially if they got a breathing problem anyway. And it's really tough for them. But the other side of it is, it looks like that they're trying to give something to somebody, you know, and you're doing your best not to. But you just gotta move on and keep your distance from them. Overall, here in the county, I think we've been pretty obedient about some of the regulations that they put out, doing what we're supposed to do. I think everything's good here. You travel to as far as Lexington, and of course the crowds are a little bigger. Walking distance between people gets a little shorter, but you just gotta have to be careful. But we can get through this. I just don't think it's going to be a quick fix. By no means. It's just going to be around for a while. That's all I got, Judge.
Thanks, Roger. Master Larry Combs. Hey, Larry, unmute yourself.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Judge, I really don't have anything other than just say I'm glad to be here, but I want to wish everybody's been on the camera today, all the officials, elected officials, have a good day.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry.
Appreciate it. Next is comments from department heads. Do we have any comments from any of our department heads today? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to pay the claims and approve the transfers. I do want to make one statement here to make sure you all are aware and understand it. And I got Glenn on here as well, but part of our claims and transfers, if I'm correct, Glenna, is an advance payment for some CSEP payments.
Yes.
In the amount of about $1,005,000. And I wanted Glenna just to explain that to you all. We do this quite often due to that process of getting reimbursed back from those CSEP funds. But I wanted her to explain it because it is a bigger amount.
Okay, so most of our payroll and our smaller claims, we pay out of the CSEP fund, and then we send in an 1801 to the state to get reimbursed for. But if we have projects going on, anything that larger than about $50,000, we send in for an advance payment, which means we send in the 1801 first and ask for the money to be dropped down, and then we pay it whenever CSEP gives us the money. But because this is a federal grant, when the money drops into our account, it has to be paid back out within 3 days. So in order to do that, we have to go ahead and approve the payment of those bills that we're sending in on that 1801. We have to go ahead and put those through court so that when that payment comes in, we can send that money out.
Okay.
You may need a motion on that today.
Glenna, that is a question I have. Do we need to make that a separate motion for that request, or is it included in the claims and transfers?
It's included in the claims and transfers.
Okay, all right. Okay. So we just want to make sure. Go ahead, Glenna.
We have those advance payments just about on every court meeting. This one is just larger than the normal.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I appreciate the explanation. I just wanted to make sure that it was out there in the open. So, so thank you all very much. So at this time, I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Larry Combs, Roger.
Second.
So I have a motion by Larry Combs and a second by Roger Barger. If there's no further discussion, call the roll, please. Hey, Kenny, you're on mute again.
I know, I was trying.
Yeah, sorry.
Master Bucket,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. You know, and I apologize to Kenny and Jenny. I didn't ask you all if y'all had any comments. Do you all need to make any announcements today? I apologize. You're all good? All right. Our next meeting is May the 26th, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. Those are our regular scheduled fiscal court meetings, which are the second and the fourth Tuesday. We are calling them special call meetings again because of the teleconferencing of our fiscal court meetings. Again, our next meeting is May the 26th, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion by John Tudor, a second by Tom Bakken. Call the roll, please.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thanks, everybody. Everybody have a great week.
You too.
Bye-bye.